Well, the eclipse excitement isn't until Monday, but there's plenty of things going on this weekend that'll keep you entertained. We'll fill you in after the break. It is a story made famous in the film starring Jack Nicholson, almost universally acclaimed as one of the greatest movies ever made. Tonight, a live version begins its theatrical run in the capital city. As we go on stage, Eyewitness News reporter Kenny Bass tells us about the Canal Players production of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Most moviegoers are familiar with the Academy Award-winning film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The Canal Players Theater Group is tackling the story with a play written by Dale Wasserman, adapted from the original story by Ken Kesey. In the early 1960s, Randall Patrick McMurphy is facing a short prison sentence. Instead, he gets himself declared insane so he can do his time in the relative comfort of a mental institution. But he wasn't counting on the iron fist of head nurse Ratchet.
He's a character that comes in and always has kind of fought the establishment, never really followed any of the rules. And he comes up against somebody that's very Army. I mean, he was in the Army, he was in the Korean War, but he was dishonorably discharged for misconduct. And he comes in for somebody that's very militant, just like that. And it starts as a bet, but then it starts getting really personal.
She's a former Army nurse who is now in charge, basically, of a mental hospital. And she runs it like her own little army, and then Mr. McMurphy comes in and starts upsetting the apple cart, and that's where the conflict comes in.
This show is another step in Canal Players' long journey to stabilize its finances and operation. After struggling for years in its East End location, KP shed itself of its problem-laden building in an attempt to re-energize the group. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest marks a return to the Charleston Civic Center Little Theater after an absence of several years. Evidence that KP's efforts are paying off.
There's definitely a real heart at the core of the story, but this really is a comedy. There's enough flavors of characters. I think someone will find someone that they really attach to and just love their lines.
The movie is different from the book, and the play is sort of a mishmash of the both of them. So even though you may have seen the movie or may have read the book, I think you could still come away with something new after seeing the show.
For On Stage, I'm Kenny Bass. Enjoy the show.
The Canal Players production of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest opened tonight at the Charleston Civic Center Little Theater and continues for the next 2 weekends. Viewers be warned, though, there is profanity and strong language in this production.